Hello.
Wow, hello.
Hello.
And welcome. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
What Hopefully everyone's Thanksgiving was good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, yes. And this is episode 78 of the NgoVo Convo podcast where two stupids make a hype.
That's hype.
Right?
I just need my coffee to make it hype.
You just need your yeah. I'm your host, NgoVo, and I'm joined by Harrison No. He's to my left. That way? Yeah. I'm on his right.
Yes.
I'm on his right, yeah. Got it. If you're new here, we both just want an excuse to talk about anything that ranges from animated comics. But we also have a never-ending backlog, which we're trying to clean up in this episode. We're chipping it away. But also some would say it's conversing. Wow. Like
NgoVo Convo?
Yeah.
NgoVo Convo?
Yes. You were very slow, but yes. It's fine. Spelling is good. We got it. You can watch every episode on youtube.com or listen to it as a podcast by searching NgoVo Convo on your podcast service of choice. We're on 10 different platforms, all your main ones. Find us, search us, love us. Yeah.
I always wonder if there's one that we just miss. But
I know,
it's
right?
Big enough, like a secret big one that we just don't know about.
It's fine, but we're everywhere. Yeah. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about Andor, Season 1. So, if you haven't finished the series, it's 12 episodes. It's on Disney+. Don't gatekeep yourselves.
Because spoiler alert, Season 2 was announced already? Or confirmed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, confirmed. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's why I said, yeah. So yeah, it's an easy watch, in my opinion. About each episode was like 45 minutes each.
Less.
I'm taking away the credits.
It's less than that.
Oh.
It's like 30
plus the
minutes each.
recap.
Yeah, it's like 35 minutes each, roughly. For some, it's 45.
Some is 45, yeah.
Yeah.
So just take 2 days. It took us 2 days, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So come back to us, like this video, open up another tab, go to your Disney Plus. If you mooch off of them. Harrison does.
Yes.
And by the way, we are sponsored by Anchor, which we'll get into later. But before we get into everything else, we're going to do a little news dump because it's been 2 weeks.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a hot minute. Lots of stuff has been out and about.
Drop.
Drop. We'll start off with, I guess, the last week of November. I guess Thanksgiving week. Lots of anime stuff came out. That time I got reincarnated as a slime movie, released in Japan. It did really well.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was going to ask,
really
so is this a good or bad? Okay.
Oh, no, it did really well.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we won't see it on Crunchyroll for another couple months.
Yeah.
So probably early next year. Yeah.
Probably be around like March latest.
Yeah. Fire Force Season 3, there's a teaser poster out. It was just released. So I think that'll be interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's this original anime called Revenger. It's scheduled for January 5th. It looked really interesting. It looked like mecha / like Attack on Titan vibes, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a blonde man, and I was like, okay, caught my attention. Heavenly Delusion, scheduled for 2023. No idea what's that about, but it's fine.
Movie or anime or season?
Season 1.
Okay,
I guess.
Cool.
Yeah. This one's the one that your brother and I watched, but the Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro Season 2, scheduled for January 7th.
Nice.
It's that really lewd high school one.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's funny.
I heard it's funny.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of revenge, like, names coming.
Yeah. I was looking at the list. I was like, that's a lot.
Yeah. Masamune
Kuns?
Have you seen this? This is season 2.
No.
Okay.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah, it looked familiar, but I just I don't recognize it too much.
Again, backlog's insane. It's getting to the point where I'm like, I kind of have to pick and choose at this point.
I know. That's coming out in spring 2023. There's a sports anime. It's like the bow and arrow one.
Oh.
Yeah. It's scheduled for season 2 in January 4th. So they have a season 1, and then they have like an extra, like a 13th episode.
Yeah.
And then I believe there's a movie. I think, I'm not too sure, but then season 2 is called Sunray. I don't know how to say that.
Surrender?
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, I think there was a movie or season 2. I don't remember which one it was, but it was like COVID related and they couldn't release it last year.
Gotcha.
So now they're releasing in 2023. JoJo Part 6 is done and it's on Netflix. All 38 episodes.
Can we just say Netflix did a really shit job at advertising this?
Yes. I think it started a year ago?
Yeah.
A year and a half ago?
I didn't even know when it would come back. I think that's the issue. Like they initially were like, "Oh, look, we have this." And I'm like, "Cool." But
yeah, and then they would release every 10 to 12 episodes in chunks.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't tell the audience when it's released.
This is one example where I was like, if it was honestly, in my opinion, if it was on Crunchyroll still, Crunchyroll does a way better job. And even though they may post things that are spoiler-esque at times, where trailers or just cutscenes and all that, and scenes and clips and all that. At least I get to know, there's a new clip. There's a reason that we have this new clip.
Yeah.
Netflix is just over, they just want to cash in.
No,
and this is
honestly.
and that's why, most time it's they do a good job initially, but that's always been their track record, in my opinion. So, they never keep up. They've never had to do this, I don't think. They've always done the initial release, so they never had to worry about announcing
it again.
More parts again.
Yeah.
So...
But this part 6 spanned I think a year and a half, or maybe even just a year. But it took a while for each section to come out, and I think people just started forgetting.
And I think that's the bad part too. Is that's partially probably because of the whole it started off in Japan, or was this dual release? I don't think it was dual release, right?
It was not a dual release. I think initially it was. But
initially, it was.
I think just scheduling wise, it just made sense to do everything.
It's so weird that they do sections. In chunks. When I was like, well, some animes they do it weekly release. So I'm like, why didn't you just keep up with that? Or is that too much because it's more than 8 episodes?
Yeah.
Or 10 episodes. So anyway, that's my gripe with Netflix anime right now.
I might get it soon because I do want to watch part 6.
Yes, I do too.
5.
Yeah.
So yeah. Record of Ragnarok season 2. There's 2 different parts. They're splitting in 2 different parts. So part 1, the first 10 episodes, is scheduled for January 26th on Netflix, and then part 2 is going to be scheduled for later in 2023.
Gotcha.
Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Edition released. Basically, that special episode
totally
or episodes.
About that.
Yeah, same.
I don't think about Guardians. I've realized.
I know.
I'm really bad, but yes.
Yeah. So that was released and during Thanksgiving week on Disney Plus. So if you have time, you can go watch. I think it's 1 or 2 episodes. Or a few.
It's a few. I think it's a few.
Okay. Well, anyway, Kevin Bacon's in it. So
Kevin Bacon's in it. I do know that much. I remember seeing the trailer.
And let's see what happened last week. Oh, Tokyo Revenger. Here's the interesting part. Season 2, the Christmas Showdown, is going to be on Disney Plus.
So it's actually going to be a Disney Christmas special. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
So it'll rerun every year around this time.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
What I didn't write was that there's actually going to be some new Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen news later in the month.
Okay, to be announced. Okay, so when they say Disney Plus, is it Disney Plus or is it Hulu?
That's a good question, because I was going to say it's probably going to be Hulu for the US and Disney Plus for everyone else.
That's what they probably meant, because in the worldwide, everyone else has Bleach on Disney Plus. But we have it on Hulu. So
only Hulu.
That's why I was like, just for clarity.
I think it's going to be on Hulu.
Yeah.
Tokyo Revenger. Yeah.
Again, stupid system.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 trailer was released last week, end of last week. We both haven't seen it, so we both forgot to react to it, so we'll probably react to it eventually.
Oops.
Eventually.
Like I said, I honestly forget about Guardians.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's like mid plus.
I agree. Some of our friends will not agree, but their opinions don't matter. It's fine. In other shows and movies, Indiana Jones 5, the trailer was released. It's scheduled for next June. Harrison Ford, that old fart, loves Indiana Jones.
He loves it more than Star Wars.
He sure does. And you know what the funny thing is? Chris Pratt wanted to play Indiana Jones, but
Harrison Ford said, "It will die with me."
Yes, Harrison Ford said it will die with me in this grave, and I was like, got it.
Yes,
we got it. Yeah.
Bless this man that I'm named after.
Transformers. There's a new movie. It's called Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Did you watch it? I actually watched clips of it on TikTok, and
I watched clips of it.
I'm actually more surprised because I didn't realize it was based off that one show.
The one TV show back in the 90s.
Back in the 90s. And for me, I was like, it didn't, like, I saw the clips, I'm like, what is this based, like, what, why are they doing, like, I couldn't remember. And then also I saw a comparison
I saw the
clip.
side by side.
Yeah, and I was like,
yeah.
Oh, it's this show. I forgot about this show.
Oh, yes. It looks interesting. I just wish, I don't know.
Is Michael Bay the director again?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm not saying it's bad. It's just I have an expectation when it comes to that stuff. I also haven't seen
explosions.
I also haven't seen the middle one with what's his name?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It was the Bumblebee one, right?
That's a prequel. I meant the one with the dinosaurs and shit. Like
Oh, yeah.
I forgot his name all of a sudden.
I forgot his name, but I can visualize what he looks like.
I'm looking at him right now, and I'm like, he's the guy. Oh my gosh, he was in Uncharted recently.
Yes, that one.
God, I'm just gonna get this before.
Can you just Google it before we forget? It's gonna bother us.
Internet's
what's his name? I can visualize him in Uncharted in a lot of movies. I just don't remember his name.
Yeah.
Typical.
Okay, Mark Wahlberg. Duh. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oops. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the ones he was in because I think I was burnt out at that point.
Yeah, with Transformers stuff. Yeah,
I did like it initially. I liked the trilogy to some extent, but then it felt like they were just milking it at that point.
No, they were. Teen Wolf, the movie, is going to be streaming on Paramount Plus January 23rd, 2023.
Can I say that was like the first show in my mind right now that started the backlog for me?
No, yeah, because you haven't even finished a series, right?
I haven't finished a series. We talked about this when we first started hanging out as friends. And
yeah.
And we talked about shows, and I'm like, oh yeah, Teen Wolf. And you're like, oh, it's so good. I'm like, I've only seen 2 seasons. And you're like,
yeah, it was good. And I think they started milking it. MTV's just started milking it.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's why I stopped too. That's what I heard. But I was going to watch because at the time I was like a huge Arden Joe fan. I was like, oh yes.
Yeah. She's not in this movie.
She's not.
Because they did not pay her enough.
Oh, it's this movie. Okay, I heard about that.
Yeah.
That was a while back.
They did not pay her enough, so she didn't want to come back.
Fair.
And the final news, which I think we're both very excited about, which is Mandalorian Season 3. Coming back March 1st.
I'm super hyped. I just feel bad about those that get into it now. And we'll kind of talk about it in this episode a bit more. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But that's all the news. That was a lot over the last 2 weeks. A lot of stuff. But we're going to take a quick break, talk about our sponsors. On this episode, we are sponsored by Anchor. It is a free podcast hosting service that we actually use. We've been using Anchor since we've started the podcast. It's because there are creation tools that allow us to record and edit the podcast right from our phones and computers. A huge plus for us is that Anchor would distribute our podcast to all platforms such as Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, and many more. It really is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one spot. Please download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm, anchor.fm to get started. Oh my God, and we're back. Wow, that was so quick.
Coffee break.
Tea break.
That's probably better.
I was like, tea break. Okay, So, Andor, what we really want to be talking about. Did you have, so non-spoiler thoughts, did you have any expectations for Andor?
Kind of. Okay, only kind of, because I took a while to get to watching it. I
Same.
actually waited till the end once it was done, but I kept hearing how this is like, people were like, oh, this is like the best thing on Disney Plus. Star Wars finally doing it right. Oh my goodness, they're just doing all. So I did kind of have an expectation. I think people. Oh, if you heard train, that's on my end. I think it's really good. No. Overall, I had really fun watching it. I think I got overhyped a little bit because I didn't know what to expect, but also it met my expectations. It exceeded in areas that I didn't expect the show would do. For instance, as in like, it's a 12 episode season, so I think they actually paced everything relatively well. Or if it was too slow, it's probably because they were delving onto certain spots.
Yeah.
So I actually had fun overall. I think some parts were kind of like dragged out a little bit, but again, for cinematic, this is purposes, for like cinematic purpose. It was still cool to watch everything. It overall, it kind of explains a lot of the little things that we're getting, and this is the one thing I like about the Star Wars franchise right now with Disney, is that they're dealt on outside the movies. This is probably a really good show to explain a lot of random stuff in between before New Hope. So the fourth movie.
Yes, the fourth. Yeah, so Andor is the prequel to Rogue One. So if you haven't seen Rogue One, Andor is about a specific rebel character that you meet in Rogue One. So this is like basically like his story, like how he helped the rebels, like that's the gist of it. Yeah. And before A New Hope, which is 4, which is the first movie of Star Wars, but number 4 in the timeline.
Star Wars, love it.
Yeah, we were talking. So I was at like a birthday party yesterday with like our mutual college friends I met through Harrison. We were talking about Andor, and they were like, "Yeah, the first movie," and I was like, "You mean number 4, like A New Hope?" And one of our friends was like, "Yeah, the first movie," and I was like, "Yeah, the first movie that came out, but it's number 4 in the timeline." He goes, "Oh, you're right." I was just like, yeah, that's the Star Wars thing. You kind of.
That's the hard part. Is like, you have to explain in that sense. And then Rogue One, the hard part also, as I learned, some people haven't watched that, so they didn't know Andor was from this one.
Yeah.
That's actually the reason why I got hyped, because I was like, oh, that's cool. It's from Rogue One. We're finally getting expanding from that sense.
Yeah.
So that's what I liked.
Yeah, I had no expectations. Yeah. I also waited until the series ended, like the season ended, all 12 episodes. And then I started watching it. I think I watched it like 3 days before you, like a couple days before you. And I was like, oh, let me see like what the hype is all about. I heard good things about it. And then like the first 2 episodes were basically like set up. So I was like, okay, it's just a little slow. And I think by the 3rd one, I was really hooked. I was like, okay, I can't stop watching. This is insane.
But that's why I was like, in retrospect, I will say it is nice that it's, even though it was slow, it still felt okay because we had ample amount of time to explore other avenues. For instance, because Disney, for the first time, and not first time, right? Or is this the first time where it breaks away from the 6 to 8 mold?
Not the first time, because She-Hulk
was 9.
She-Hulk was 9, yeah.
Well, no, even 9. I'm just saying, like, this is 12.
Yeah, no, this is the first time
I think
Disney
Wanda
Plus has
was
done
10.
more. Yeah, they've done more than 10. Yeah. This is the first one,
Yeah. So, I think 12 is finally like that. Okay, it's nice. Like, it doesn't have to rush it too much. I think that's why I'm saying for a Disney Plus show.
For a Disney Plus show,
because I do agree the first 2 episodes were kind of slow.
They were. But I want to watch this because of Diego.
That's what everyone says.
Nah, I was like,
honestly,
yes.
though, me too. Because I was like, okay, legit, me too.
Yeah, and there was a lot of famous people that I did not expect to come into play.
Because it was like 2 of them that threw me off. I was like, whoa, really? Wait, hold on, let me see.
It was Forrest, what's his name? Oh yeah, Forrest Whitaker. He was an original character. Or Whitaker, sorry. Oh, Google said Whittaker. I was like, that doesn't sound right. Did he change his name?
Did he?
Google's wrong. I don't know. He was one of the original characters in Rogue One. Saw. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
So I thought I didn't expect him to come back, in my opinion, but it made sense for how the storyline was going.
Yes, it's actually cool. Like they brought back they handle continuity very well. Like,
yes,
they bring back certain people, and then, like, for instance, I didn't realize Stellan I can never say his last name. Skagar. I always butchers. He's like the Luton guy.
Ah, yes.
He's in a lot of
Skarsgård.
Yeah, Skarsgård. Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Look at us messing up names.
Look at us messing up names.
One after another.
One after another.
And then I also didn't expect Andy Serkis.
Dude, I thought he was gonna be CGI when I was like, oh god, what is this man about to be CGI?
When you see his name, you do just assume it's a CGI. But then this time I was like, oh, that's nice. Because I like his performances a lot. So it's like,
oh, it was so good.
So.
But we can talk about that in sport thoughts.
Yes.
But do you have any other non-sport thoughts?
No, overall, I think I liked it a lot. It was good paced, 12 episodes. But we were talking about it. It looks long. It looks very long. And then I forget Disney Plus have their crazy, ridiculously big chunked credits, which is fine. It's good to give credit. I get it. But it's just, holy shit. Every time.
The last 10 minutes.
It's always the last, So it looks like it's long. You'll see the runtime, but then just shave off like 10, 15 minutes, honestly.
And plus recap.
The recap.
And the intro.
The recaps are actually like detailed. Like sometimes it's actually good because I took a break and I'm like, oh, that's right. That's where I'm at.
Gotta get back into it.
And I think this is probably the first time that they do a character focused story well, and that is a old character, technically.
Yeah.
But they flesh it out.
And fleshes out and it continues the story.
They also introduce a lot of older characters that are in the universe, but are also important in like the prequel and the
basically throughout the Star Wars story.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. I say 4, 5, 6. I always forget what that one's called, but yes.
Oh yeah, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So. Okay, let's get into sport thoughts. We gotta spoil ourselves here. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Sport thoughts.
Okay. This guy.
Where do we even start?
Okay, I guess. Did you have like a character that stuck out a lot more for you?
For me, it was that blonde lady, Deidre.
There's 2 blonde ladies. Is it the Deidre? Is that the one with the Imperials? Is that the one?
Yes, with the Imperials. Yes.
Just want to make sure because you learned like the cousin.
Vel
is also. Whatever. That's why I was like, she's also blonde. But yes.
Yeah. No. I think Deidre really caught my attention just because I think the way the men reacted to her, like in that meeting, in that second episode, really ticked off the timeline for her to like aggressively look into everything. And like the timeline of like how her character is going to like weigh in on Andor, basically. Yes. Yeah. But I thought she was really interesting. Andor, I thought was interesting. The only confusing part I had with him was his backstory because the first 2 episodes they did a lot of past and like present stuff, but they wouldn't tell you. So you had to like really pay attention to what was old and what was new. Because Andor was rescued, right, by what's her name? Marva.
Marva, yeah.
Yeah. He was rescued by Marva. And so you kind of get his backstory that he almost got killed, like his tribe got killed, and Marva took him. Possibly.
We just assume so.
Yeah, we assume so. I'm assuming. Then Marva took care of him, took him in, basically erased where he was from, etc.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. Andor was really interesting. It was really cool to see like a prequel character get their own story.
Yeah.
You know, because you're always in like post-war, or like you're in during the war, or you're in the part where like
it's like peacetime or wartime. But this is like the Rogue One is like one of the few times where you get to see everything boiling. Right?
Yeah, everything's just
literally,
boiling. The tension.
The tension's there. And that's what I think that's what I also liked, was seeing how he develops over time, and he does a flip. Because at first he's like super against being a rebel.
Oh yeah. He was like, why are we doing this? Yeah.
Yeah. Because I just want to survive. Because I mean, granted, that's how he grew up. It's just surviving, so it made sense.
Surviving.
Yeah.
Those two characters were probably the ones that I was most interested in.
Yeah.
But how about you?
Obviously Cassian, Andor, but I will say at times, I don't know if you noticed this throughout the show, there are certain things that I felt like he was like, as a character, I was like, I think you're kind of dumb. Like, okay, like, it's just little actions where, for instance, he's in the prison, he's on the floor, and everyone's like, tell him to get up. He's like, get up, you're about to. And I'm like, he's like, but like for effect, he's like looking around, and then he gets onto the thing. And then it's fine. I was like, there's little things like that where I was like, what the fuck, bro?
You're like, you're about to get electrocuted.
I was like, you're about to die. But he does that like several times throughout. But again, that's just him.
That might have been for like cinematic.
It is cinematic, but I would like to also assume he's very observant, because he is.
Yeah.
So, the character Deidre was. I think I also liked Luthen. So the old guy.
Yes.
The guy that technically he jump started this whole thing, I guess. But
yes, he's a double agent, basically.
Yes, but it's so interesting to see like he has a flip side, and this is when I first had my like whiplash moment where I was just like, he starts off like shaved head, right? And then he starts off like
short hair.
Yeah, he starts off with short hair, and then all of a sudden when he leaves, I look down for a little bit, and I look up and I look down. I was like, what? He puts on a wig and it's like long hair, and then he's like doing like the gestures and stuff, and like, you know, trying to be like the owner of like the antique shop or something.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh, what just happened? Did I miss it? And I had to actually go back, and I'm like, when did this happen? I literally, it's that meme of look down, look up, and then
I could see that happening. You just like typing away and like doing something. You're like, oh, what is this?
Yeah. Because I think I was working or something, or I was like doing something.
Yeah.
And then, because I started off like just passively watching. Then I started learning. Then I saw your message at one point. You're like, you had to pay attention. Not to me. You were just telling our group.
Like telling her, yeah. I was like, just pay attention to like a little bit.
And that's when I was like, I had to pay attention.
That was episode like 1, 2.
It was the end of episode.
Or 2, yeah.
That's why it matched up. I was like, oh, I should pay attention.
That's so funny. Did you like Bix?
Yes, I did actually.
I felt bad for her.
I felt super bad by the end.
She was just tortured.
No, like, because technically she was just it's worse because she did just help Andor, and that's it. She just helped Cassian just to like get tortured and like essentially get mentally
freaked out.
Yeah. I was like, it's like one of those like the torture thing. They described what would happen, but we didn't really hear it. We just saw it happen, and I'm like, do I want to know? I kind of want to know.
Yeah,
I don't think I want to know.
They put the helmet on. I was like, oh, are we gonna like see something? What's gonna happen? Oh yeah, what's his name? Clino? Andy's character?
Yes. Yeah. Kino?
Yeah. Kino? I thought he was interesting. His growth to me was very interesting.
I don't know if it was exactly growth, but it was just more like
maybe like a change of heart.
Yeah, or because I feel like, because at first I was like, oh, this guy's I thought he was just gonna be a dick the entire time.
Yeah.
But you notice like throughout the time he does care, because he just wants to. He cares about himself more, as everyone does in there. Everyone just wants to leave. Yeah. But there are moments like, for instance, like he'll be hard on the team, but I can't tell if it's because the guards are up there or not, right?
Yeah.
When they're building stuff. But like when the old man like is getting
collapsed, and
when he collapses, like you could tell like over time he does like notice it. So that's why I think his character was really interesting to watch. I felt so bad at the very end when they're about to escape. You just hear him say, "I can't swim," and I'm like,
but Andor didn't hear it because Andor got like hit.
Dude, and there's moments that like you notice like they're running out because they're all trying to escape. You saw people fall down. I was like, yeah, they're dead, because that's a stampede. I was like, there's moments like that happens. I was like, oh, so this is training on my side. There's moments that I was like, this is dark, or they don't really show the dark parts, but they allude to it. I'm like,
but they allude to it, yeah.
It's crazy.
This is a very dark show.
And I like it.
And I like it a lot.
I think it's always a nice... It's so weird to know, like... it's not that I'm against the Jedi stuff, but it's a nice change of pace when it's exploring the other parts of the war or, like, the galaxy. This is what I always wanted.
Yeah. Okay, jumping into, like, the prison stuff. What did you think they were making?
I thought it was going to be, like, droids or something. I thought it was some kind of droid, but I was trying to think of what droid it could be in the future. I was like, is this like an AT, like a, or maybe it was like a,
or maybe like a machine, or not
just
machine,
a different, like a starship.
Yeah,
different ship or something like that. But I was like thinking, like, was it a droid? No, it's not the AT. It's not the AT. No, it can't be. Or maybe. So when they revealed that at the end of, I was like, I normally didn't check for credits. But the one time at the end, I was like, let me check. And I I saw a glimpse. I was like, okay, we'll just do that. And I clicked it a little bit before, and I see the space scene. I was like, wait.
You're like, oh,
I was like, oh. And then you see the one part. It's George putting it down. I was like, oh, okay, so it's not oh no, it's the Death Star.
It's the Death Star. Yeah, because I thought the parts that they were making were too big for a droid, so I thought it was like a ship. I thought they were making like a ship or something, and I was like, huh, and then like all the parts looked the same because at each table they were just remaking the same things.
I think it's each floor or each, like, you know how it's like 5, 2, and I think each one makes something different.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
each floor and like room.
Unless that whole facility just makes the same shit, but I doubt it.
I doubt it.
But it's because Cassian was right. He was like, they have to have us do this. This is important. Yeah. So I was like, Yeah.
How'd you feel about the rebels on the island when he was meeting him?
Oh, Aldhani?
All like Vel and...
Oh, okay. So
Karis,
the Aldhani part?
Yeah.
Did
you think their characters were introduced and then killed off too soon? Like some of them? Because it felt very short to me. That was one of my gripes.
It was short, but I think it was not... It felt short, but I think it was with a purpose, because the main characters that survived are the ones that will stick with us, right? So Vel and the other girl, I forget.
Yeah.
Cinta. They survived, so I think they're gonna be a huge part in season 2. Because, well, obviously Vel, because she's the cousin of Mon Mothma.
Mon, yeah.
Which we'll touch on that in a bit too.
Oh yeah.
I did kind of feel like it was short. It was, but it was enough that I was like, okay, this is the rebels, blah blah blah. Oh, okay, cool. But then the only thing I felt bad about was the guy, that
got crushed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, when you heard that, I saw it move. I was like, oh god, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's worse. His whole back.
His whole
his
back.
legs are gone.
I know. I was like,
it's true.
Because I was like, why is he laying there, like in between? I was like, this doesn't make sense. And then you just see like Andor just like whoop, shoot up into the sky. And I was like, oh, I see. They're gonna crush him. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
I think the other guy died too quickly, but he was being too greedy with Andor.
Oh,
I just didn't.
Not the Merc.
Arvel, I think his name is.
I forgot, but it's the guy that had like kind of the same backstory as.
Yeah, as Andor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But, Arvel. Arvel. Skeen.
Oh, Skeen.
They always call him Skeen. But yes.
But I just thought his death was like too soon. I don't know. I just wanted more of him. But I could see why Andor had to like kill him off.
I think each character in this part, I didn't feel like it was too much because I felt like if they're important enough, they'll last long enough, right?
Yeah.
In this kind of stuff. Especially with like Rogue One and all. I was like, important people will end up staying.
Stay, yeah.
Cinta's
going to be interesting.
Cinta's the one that I didn't expect to survive.
Same.
I thought she was gonna die, and Vel was gonna go into this like, here's my villain arc now.
But did you notice she killed one of the
she did
Imperial?
She killed
dudes,
the dude the right hand of like Deidre or something.
Yeah.
Like she had like a vendetta. It looked like she had a vendetta. And I was like, interesting. Okay.
And she doesn't know about Vel either.
Which is also
which I find interesting.
Which will be cool to watch because Vel right now is groomed to be the leader of the rebels, but then we learn later that is not going to be the case.
No, she's just there to like be the middleman.
But Mon is also being introduced because she's like huge in the alliance, right? So future wise.
In the future, yeah.
So
what'd you think about her, Mon? Senator Mon.
I didn't put it 2 and 2 together until like I heard her name. And even then, it took me a bit. I was like, wait, is he? Because the haircut's different.
Yeah, the hair. It's the hair.
Honestly, it's the hair. I was just like, if I saw her in her like normal like Rebels or like Rogue One and 456 look,
yeah,
I'd be like, oh, that's her. But this one, it took me a bit. But of course, it was nice to get that backstory as well. Of like, she's been she was a senator, but like
she's scheming
but
away.
Scheming. That was that. Okay, so out of the few things, I found the prison part interesting, and then I found that interesting.
Like Senator Mon and like Luthen.
Like her whole, or mainly her whole like dilemma of like she's been trying to help fund the rebels, but then because she's wealthy, right? But she's like about to get caught. So I found that part interesting. I was like, oh, that's a lot of tension. This is interesting because I want to see how she gets to where she is now. Like she has to defect super hardcore at some point, right? So
yeah. And I thought her driver being like a spy,
that's why I was like, ooh, this is interesting.
Super interesting.
Her setup for her husband at the time was like, oh, are you gambling again? And he's like, what?
He's like, what?
Again? What do you mean?
Again?
I was like, bro, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Chill.
Okay.
Is the daughter someone we should know?
I was gonna ask you that because I had no idea.
I feel like
because they did like a really long panel of her at the end, and I was gonna Google it, and I was like, I feel dumb. Should we know who this is? I
feel dumb too, but like I was like, but I was so busy watching it. Every time I saw her, I was like, oh, I should look her up. I'll do it after, but I just forget. I meant to do it before this podcast actually.
Yeah, me too.
That was like my only question. I felt like all the parts on what's the home planet again? I keep forgetting. Or
I forget.
Andor's from, or that he's at.
Casa? No.
No, is it No, Cassa's his Canary name.
Oh, Cassa's his name. Yeah. I don't remember. We're so bad at this.
You'd think it'd all be here, but it's not. Primor. The Primor?
Oh, yes.
No. Primor's the
name of
the security thing. Oh, what'd you think of that guy, Rupert? Was it Rupert?
Oh, was it Rupert?
No.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I think it was Rupert, or the guy that we follow along. That you think he's gonna be the main villain, but he's not the main villain so far.
Oh yeah, he was interesting.
As in, like, they're definitely grooming or setting him up because he seemed creepy. He gave me creepy vibes already.
He was creepy.
And then of course he started like when he had his heart to heart with Deidre.
I know. I was like, "Are you
give me
stalking
purpose?" Me? And she sure is like, "Are you stalking me?" I was like, "Yes." And it's technical stalking.
Oh yeah.
But you think he's gonna be? I think he's gonna be huge. I guess I just don't know by how much, or is he just gonna be like the right hand of like Deidre again or some shit?
I don't know.
I say
it's
again,
hard to
but
tell.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be playing a big part for season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he has this.
Kyle. Sorry, it's Kyle, not Rupert. It's Kyle.
Okay, yeah.
Or no, the actor's Kyle, but his name is Cyril.
Yeah, the guy that wanted to capture Andor.
Yeah.
I think he's super obsessed with catching Andor. He'll just do whatever it takes at this point. Literally.
He's like early
He'll
Zuko.
do whatever it takes. Yeah. But we'll see how big he'll get in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
See how much of a vibe he'll give us. Oh yeah, Marva, her speech through the robot.
Mood. I was like, dang. Oh, I love the little robot too. But oh my god, her speech. Oh, when she passed, I was like, oh, I didn't expect this field trip so soon.
This field trip at the second half. The second half was just rough. It was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Marva's speech I thought was really cool to see because that's where the tension just cuts, I think. And of course it's going to be on the last episode, but like the last 2 episodes really.
I say soon, but it happened exactly like near the end. So what am I talking about?
Yeah. But I think the tension was there, and then she kind of, the speech really
ignited, essentially like ignited everyone's like the fire to like kill everyone else. Or all the
what side are you on? Yada yada yada.
Fuck the Imperials. So turn that off.
Yeah. The poor robot's just like, okay, let me know.
Pushed down. I was like, oh god. I dropped my coffee.
Oh no.
It's fine. It was empty.
Oh, but, good. Yeah. Do you have any?
I just did the same thing. Well.
Do you have any gripes left?
Not really.
I think you said a couple, but
I think no, it was just a little, like very little, like character things. Right? But it was overall, I think everything was well paced. Everything was touched on very well. They explained. If anything, they explained a lot of things for this series, right?
Yeah.
So I was actually very impressed overall.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was really hype. I was like, oh my god,
like
what's going on?
Hype with the amount of tension we got. So I was like, oh, this is like the kind of stuff that I wanted from Star Wars in the first place. Like, and hopefully, this is what I want to at least say. My one gripe is not with the show, but it's just how they would handle certain things in the future. If you haven't seen Boba Fett or Mandalorian, oops,
yeah.
Because you have to watch Boba Fett for the last 2 episodes for Mandalorian season 3, because season 2 leaves off with Grogu with Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Oops, if you haven't seen that. Just saying.
It's a lot oops.
Yeah. But I just don't want them I get this is from Rogue One, but now that they're starting to establish shows with this, I hope they don't break chunks like that. Where Boba Fett should have just been Boba Fett and maybe had a cameo. I get it. Yeah. But the cameo became more integral for Mandalorian's show. So I hope they don't do something like that.
In season 2. Hopefully they don't ruin it.
Because this is really good.
No, yeah. In my mind, I was like, wow, this is what Boba Fett could have been.
Fair. Do you like this?
Know, the gory...
Yeah.
You know? The gore. Yeah.
Do you like this more than Mandalorian?
Oh, that's a tough question. I was thinking about this too before we were recording. I was like, do I like this more than Mandalorian? I want to say yes, because we've never really seen like prequel characters. You know, just like the kind of like the full backstory, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's why I'm gonna say yes, but the other part of me is like, but Mandalorian's something that was a surprise, I think, in COVID.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say yes because we haven't seen this much Star Wars in a while.
Yeah,
and I just feel like Mandalorian took like a really long break, so I'm kind of forgetting like how good Mandalorian is.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm gonna say Andor's a little bit better, smidge.
I think for the like, for the tension and for like the essentially like the spy-esque stuff, all the Rogue One-esque stuff, per se. I have a soft spot for that kind of stuff. I like detective shows. I like all that stuff. So it's having this kind of tension is interesting because I think it's fun. The tension from like Boba Fett came more from like I hope they survive.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, or I hope nothing happens to Grogu. And then I start questioning: do I like the show more because of Grogu, or is it because I like the show as a whole? It's been a while, like you said, it's been a while since I've watched it. But as of right now, I think I like Andor way more because it just feels.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, it's more refreshing, but it's also nice to see. It feels more connected with like Mandalorian. We get the exploration of the galaxy and the universe, while here it's like we still see the continuity, but exploring in detail. For the story, for the plot,
which is really cool.
Which I think I think it's awesome. So
yeah. Well, that's all I have. I don't know if that's all you have.
Yeah, that's all I got. Go watch.
We always say this at the end of the episode, but we recommend this.
Oh, I purposely said it at the beginning.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So I'm just solidifying.
I should have said that.
It's good.
Yeah, we should solidify that more. But thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon at NgoVo Convo, NgoVo Convo. If you don't know how to spell last name.
It's above my head.
Yeah, logo's above Harrison's head.
If you're watching.
If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button and notification bell to get updates for when we upload, and subscribe. The big red button's below me. We upload every Monday, occasionally on Fridays, random days for trailer reacts, yada, yada, yada. You know our stuff.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Do I even know my stuff?
Maybe. Let us know how we're doing. What do you want to see next? What do you want us to read, watch, play, binge? Let us know.
Because we binged Andor.
Yeah, we sure did binge Andor. We have only one more episode, then we're going to take a really long break. So next episode is our last one for 2022. So it's an exciting one. Harrison will be taking over that. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.